Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back for another Saturday Night Sci-Fi Shadow Chat. Nothing too heavy tonight. Everybody's still feeling the holiday whatevers, and some folks are still doing the holiday thing. We got one more to muddle through next week, a couple days away. Can't believe it's almost time for a whole brand new year. I'm kind of looking forward to it. That's what the show's going to be about tonight. We're going to talk about the things we're going to try to do, the things we're probably not going to do, and the things we're definitely not going to do. Because there's probably a laundry list out there for each and every one of you. I know there's a whole lot of things I want to do. How about you, Justin? What's up,
Yeah,
Minister?
yeah. There's a bunch of stuff I want to do. Like actually get a whole bunch of writing projects done.
Yep, yep.
Uh, yeah, definitely. And I don't mean just like first draft done. I mean done.
Done and done. Up there on Amazon, Kindle, that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I would like to do that as well. I've got uh, the magazine I'm working with, the Arduin guys, to put out. I don't know if it's going to be a print thing. I really hope it is, because the digital magazines to me just seem like something that anybody could do, and they're really kind of meaningless after a couple of months to a year. Whereas if we put together a magazine like the old Dragon magazine, but for Arduin, there'll be things that'll be relevant, articles, monsters, whatever, mini adventures, things like that. That if you've got it in your hot little hands, I've got probably about 30 or 40 Dragon magazines down there. The other ones that survived my collection. And every once in a while, I'll go through them and uh, find things that I want to integrate into my game, or at least talk about with other, players and game masters. Dungeon Minister, you got anything big you're doing this year? Curious, because it's that time again. Also for us, a couple days from now, we do the our favorite YouTubers award show. This will be, I think, our fifth one. I just got a thing on Facebook that said 3 years ago I was still down at the table doing our show from the dinner table, and I was doing a review of the very first Star Schlock merchandise I had received, and now they've done a second Kickstarter, and I was going through that, and just how the time flies. Little guys all grown up, and
Yeah. To your previous point with magazines, the thing that killed them is the printing, right? But we live in a day like I know the guys over there at Arduin,
Emperor's Choice.
Emperor's Choice. I was going the other company, but I knew I was wrong. Have their own printing facilities, but print on demand is a thing now. I'm not saying use Amazon specifically, but
Mhm.
that would alleviate the thing that killed uh like magazines. Obviously, you'd have to up the binding because nobody that I know of does staple bound print on demand.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think if you're gonna do a magazine where a print version is available, yeah, that would probably be the way to go. Um,
Hmm.
like it's one of these cases that because of the cost of the medium that everyone's used to or wants to pay for that physical media.
Hmm.
It is literally a one nail fits all solutions because who wants to keep like a warehouse full of like printed medium that might have a fully saturated market already satisfied. Uh, like that's what killed TSR, like overprinting.
Hmm.
And then when they overprinted, they started using their printing service as a creditor by overprinting more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm looking at something from Venger, which I'm pretty certain came out of. Uh, Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was drive through, but it's 30 pages, printed in the United States. I don't know what it costs. There's no price tag on it, but it's not stapled. It's glued. Decent cardboard laminated cover. I could be proud to get behind a 30-page magazine in this sort of format.
yeah. Okay, so they'll do fewer because like we were talking with TCG, Amazon is around 95, I think, or something like that.
Mhm.
So well, it'd have to be an even number, but
Right. You can't get
uh,
around that.
yeah, a page is one side of paper. For those of you that don't know, a page is only half of the sides of paper,
Yeah.
unless it's a signature, then it's only a quarter of the piece of paper. Uh, Signatures are folded, so this becomes one, two. Uh, no, it's the other side of the signature. So if this is one, two, it'd usually be 15, 16.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, like the old Arduin grimoires were folded in half, stapled in the middle, 30 to 60 pages, I think.
Yeah. But
The
usually
original white
signatures are
box,
only 8 sheets of paper, and then the next signature is
which
sewn up.
I'm 100% certain they did, or David practically did by himself. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did send it out to a printer, but back then it could literally have been done on a photocopier, Kinkos or something like that. Just print out the sheet, staple himself with the cover.
I actually would not be surprised if those guys, their printing division, also did other work. Um, because I honestly do not see the game taking up the if they've got a full printing press, the game and supplements they have taking up the full production capability of that machine.
Yeah, I don't know that those at Emperor's Choice actually have the equipment to print. I think they actually print out of house, but
Okay, okay.
they do a lot of the other things elsewhere. Because I remember just now talking to them about waiting something to get back from the printer, but they do all the miniature casting themselves. They do all the packaging themselves and various other aspects of the hobby. I'm going to have them on hopefully real early in the year in January to talk about, what 2025 has in store for the fans of Arduin as well as some other folks. So we can ask them some of those questions because I really don't know what they've got scheduled for this year. Hopefully some good stuff. Hopefully something a little more meatier than just the maps, which I got to give them a ration of grief for because I still can't find frames for so many of The the maps are just so freaking big.
Uh, like I said, just make them. You don't need a table saw. You can get a piece of uh, the 2x4 and a circular saw and just
Yeah, well, for me, I for the most part insist on some sort of clear coat in front,
yeah, yeah,
covering it
yeah. You can do that with acrylic.
with a what?
Acrylic. Buy a sheet of acrylic and cut it down.
Yeah, I looked into some of that stuff, and it's not that cheap. I don't want to spend 2 3 times the price of the item for the frame. You know,
Yeah.
and I did look, and they are now more expensive to buy them after the Kickstarter, but not really by much as I would have thought. So it's still a pretty decent deal if you're interested in those. But
Yeah.
honestly, I don't even know if I can get any more in the studio. There's only one section of unless I put them on the ceiling, which I don't recommend. I don't know that I'll be able to fit them in here. The studio's getting smaller every week. I did a little redecorating today. I got more to do tomorrow before the big game. But yeah, I had to move this table out because this chair was just bumping into everything. I
Mhm.
really like this new chair though. Makes a big difference. It's about 6 inches taller than the dinner table chairs we were using, and
Yeah, well, a good chair is 90% of back health.
mhm.
Uh, yeah,
And so speaking of health and back, if I'm successful quitting smoking this year, hey Cal, uh, I'm going to spend more time up here and less time going back and forth. So
yeah. So putting a proper charging station for your devices at your table
that's
will
that's
be
part of the thing I'm working on. Is
super smart.
yeah, I need to get another power strip or two because I've really only got 3 outlets in this room, or 3 plugs, not outlets, because outlets both. I've only got 3 plugs, and one of them is covering the lights above, and none of the stuff behind me because it's all battery powered, and the lights in front of me take up another one. So I'm going to need, and I've got a one of those multi port little extenders that keep my mixer going. No, no, Cal. That's all downstairs in the garage. So, you got anything else you plan on doing this year?
Uh,
Any
uh,
resolutions you plan on breaking? Any bad habits you're going to kick? Any good habits you're going to adopt? Anything like that?
well, I don't know. My worst habit these days is I gotta like go to the gym or something. But besides that, I think just I want to get some writing done. Like I said, I'm aiming for 3 books. Three. I figure one every 4 to 5 months should take care of me.
Yeah, I'm not shooting as high. I've got a lot of other things going on this year. One book I'll be happy, and of course if I can get the first couple of issues of the magazine out, that'll kind of count. I will paint more minis for next year. I'm at 217 now. I don't even know how many I did this year. I know for the challenge, I think I did 150. For another challenge, I did 60, and for another, I did 30. So 240 plus the stuff that's on my table and other things that I don't really count, like the dice tower, some of the other little things. I do want to do a couple more crafts this year, little things that anybody can do uh, to spice up their table, whether it be a piece of terrain or like I did the dice tower. I kind of like ideas like that as well, because everybody focuses on the just the things that accentuate the game. But I've been thinking there's a lot of like on my desk I've got a crap ton of uh, hobby materials, and they're all completely kind of organized. But I think I can do better. I'm looking at a way to maybe make a better paint rack because I don't. I've got a couple of clear acrylic nail polish holders that hold about a dozen, but they're not attached to anything. They're just sitting on the table.
Yeah. Um,
I was looking at the way Bo has his set up, and I always pay attention to uh, Wylock's Armory. He's got a really nice setup as well. But I've got about a 10 by 12 room, and part of it's taken up by a 5 by 4 window that there's nothing I can do anything about. Plus the door doesn't really give me a lot of space. I do have a decent closet over here. Maybe
well,
I'll
you can technically cover the window.
I could, but I do like it,
Yeah.
especially during the summer and spring months, because if I'm doing a show at night, I actually get a blue sky until almost 8 o'clock, and that's it's right now it's pitch black out there, and it's basically a big giant mirror.
Yeah, I've got 3/4 wall to wall windows on this side. So or 1/4, 1/4, 1/3, something like that. So it's wall, but then there's windows from wall to wall over here at the top third quarterish, and
Yeah,
then the doors over there, and then this wall is two closets. So I can't cover that wall with anything, and that wall has got windows on it, and then the door is there. So
yeah. When you have these smaller rooms to do this sort of thing from, I like the idea that lazy susans or something that spins, because a lot of the things I can't reach everything.
yeah,
And Jackie's side over here is not getting any use because he's over there. He's playing Helldiver, I think, right now. Which I actually was like, well, that looks fun. I I,
yeah,
I I could see myself playing that. But next week I'm going to be playing Red Dead with the boy. But I also pulled out some little miniature projects that, uh, like, to give you a quick example. I bought this one sprue on eBay of some of the clear product, stretch goals from one of the last previous Kickstarters from Dungeons and Lasers, and I'm like, why didn't I finish doing these? I realize the clear plastic is brittle as hell, but I've got a hot knife right here just for that purpose. Like, knock them out. One of the things that I also got was is another little craft project I'm going to work on. It's a clear plastic tree. It's kind of cool, right?
yeah. And put a tea candle inside of it.
Tea light. How much cooler is that? Boom.
Yeah,
And this one actually changes color as it goes along. And the basic tea light, replaceable battery. I was thinking of building up the base so it doesn't look like it's sitting on a tea light. And they do
yeah.
make thinner ones, but uh, I just build it up a little, put some either paper clay or a lot of hot glue or whatever. I like the
Paint
idea of
foam
hot,
scraps.
yeah, and,
Uh,
and build it up and make it a little magical tree piece of terrain. Take some foam board or something like that. Maybe even just a Pringles lid and build that up. sink it in, turn the lid upside down, sink it in, build it up. And I like the idea of using as much hot glue as I can, just in case I have to replace the whole tea light. That way I can just melt the crap down with the hot glue gun. And
Well, make the tea light like if you did it with pink foam, you could have the tea light pressure fit in the
yeah,
bottom,
I do have enough pink foam. I could probably do that.
and that way you can just hot swap it by pulling it out and popping a new one in whenever the f you wanted. Right.
Mhm.
Uh,
Maybe I'll go through the box of scraps because the pink foam is so rare. Even they do
it's
sell.
not rare in California. He just doesn't go into the Home Depot in the right section.
No, no, it's
We
not.
established this because I looked this up in Home Depot and several areas near him.
When I go into my Home Depot or my Lowe's or my
It's
what's that?
not it's not in the home and garden section, so he doesn't see it.
No, it's in the insulation section, and they've only got the owning core
No, it's not even in the standard insulation section. It's in back behind the sheet goods section.
right by the
So
like plywood things like that, which is
eh,
right next to the insulation section where they've got the
okay.
regular uh, extruded white styrofoam, but they only sell the sheets in 2x2. I've been there multiple times, and that's all they've got is the 2x2, and even that's hard to find.
I looked this up in several different locations.
And in my location, and there are two or three Home Depots and one Lowe's, they don't have it.
Yeah, I find this very hard to believe.
Me too, because I've gone there many times with my Olfa knife, just thinking, I can't fit the 4x8, but I can knock it down to 4x2, 4x4s. Cut it in half, shove it in the back. I'm good.
Hmm.
But no, and even then, they've only got the like I said, the 2x2, which is it's either a full inch or a little bit less than an inch. I think it's a full inch thickness, but I want like the 2 inch thickness. The blue stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so many things I could do. Even trying to keep them modular and small. Dungeon Minister just made a really neat little keep, but he used the white stuff, the white styrofoam, and
The expanded
mm,
styrofoam. Yeah,
yeah, the little bubbles. I've got a
yeah.
ton of that stuff. I've literally I've got enough to build a cat. I could build minus Tirith out of nothing but white styrofoam if I wanted to. I've got that much. I've got like uh, about a cubic meter of it and more. Just a box, just stuffed full of sheets of different thicknesses. And I've done some pretty cool projects with that stuff, especially when you break out the blowtorch and you burn it with plenty of ventilation and
Ooh,
stuff.
that's not good.
But
That's not good.
well, we've used the had fans and things like
Yeah.
that. Jackie and I got a real big kick at like the bridge up there that's made that way. The Sphinx is not the giant volcanic island that was made with some Bic lighters and a lot of styrofoam. And if you've got good ventilation and a good fan and a good strong lighter, because if you use a Bic lighter too much, it starts getting really hot, and then you got to wait for it to cool down. It can be done.
Oh, I know it could be done. It's just you're off gassing some pretty nasty stuff.
Oh, I know. Speaking of off gas, and here comes the hound. You want to sit up there? You got your hat? No,
What hat?
your holiday hat. Come on, get up here.
Me?
There we go. Now I got a co-host. Check that out.
Um.
There we
Hey,
go.
Jackie, how you doing?
Dude, no, the boy won't join me anymore. He's all
Why, he's
grown
right
up.
there.
Look
I
at that.
see him. I see him right
Look at that.
there.
You're the best.
You should change the sign. You should change the sign to Shadow and Hound.
no, he's out of here.
No.
Man's best friend. Yeah, no, I did. I did get rid of the little woe sign that Jackie had written so that he could sneak in there. It's like, oh, hey, Brian, I don't know. Can you see that? Keep it
Yeah.
weird. It's not reversed, is it?
Yeah, it's reversed. Oh no, it isn't. No, it isn't.
I told him I was going to put it up there. So, hey, why isn't this on? Oh, battery died. Yeah, I wanted to get all the light up stuff. It's New Year's, you know. Well, it's not technically not.
Well, a few
Zorpazorp.
days.
What the hell is Zorpazorp?
Um, he's a YouTuber.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he builds. His game of choice is Lord of the Rings,
Okay.
the GW war
Gotcha.
game, and
Okay.
he's built fucking Minas Tirith,
Nice. Nice.
and completely playable.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point? I mean,
Yeah,
unless you're making a movie or something, I guess. But
and I don't mean like a couple of buildings and he called it Minas Tirith. I mean he built fucking Minas Tirith.
nice.
Yeah,
That's freaking awesome.
yeah.
I don't have that kind of time.
Well, you start off with a couple of videos that snowballs because algorithm and whatnot,
Sure.
and next thing you know, YouTube's paying you.
Yeah. Well, it's just where do you keep it when you're done?
Well, instead of a mattress and some cameras in his garage and a couple of rent boys chained to the wall.
Uh-huh. Seriously, that would have to take up like a 3 car garage if it's to if it's going to be really really accurate.
Yeah, well, you know, give me a minute. I gotta find a.
Now, if he was going to blow it up afterwards, I could get behind that. Get some.
Okay, a couple of weeks ago, he was working on Helm's Deep.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is just one section.
All right, let me pull that up. Why isn't it coming on?
No, I don't have it playing. I have it. It's on the screen for me. I can see it. I did we lose Shadow?
There we go.
Okay. Yeah,
Sweet.
and there's still the wall that sweeps around over here. Like there's another section. You see it in the thumbnail here. If you see that.
Wow.
Yeah, and this isn't even like Ministerial. This is Helm's Deep, right? So because he obviously branched out to other things after finishing, because you got to keep the channel going, or what's the point of building a well, I'm just checking to see how many 161K subscriber base.
Mhm.
In the month this video has been up, 54,000 people have watched it. So
That's pretty good.
it pays to actually do the big projects, and I'm assuming he sells them after he's done because they're good enough to sell.
Oh yeah, clearly. But again,
Uh,
you'd have to have a really big place to put that. I noticed that he's got the black curtains in there, so God only knows where he actually is. It could
I
be
think
in
he's
the
in his
storage.
garage.
Yeah.
but yeah, like a storage unit. Like obviously when he started out, it wasn't a rented place. It was just he didn't have the car in the garage. Now he's
Mhm.
in New Zealand, I do believe, or Australia.
Okay.
New Zealand, I think, because he's gone over to the Hobbit filming place a few times.
Welcome to the show, Paul. Yeah, my internet keeps doing the weird thing right now, so
Yeah,
bear with me if I disappear. Yeah, shipping would be murder. Yeah, you
yeah.
literally need like, oh gosh, I can't even imagine how you get that without being there every step of the way. You know, because you hire some random shipping company and it's gonna arrive destroyed.
Well, it all depends on how it's packed and if it's
Yeah,
modular or not.
yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
It looks like it could seriously be.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it depends on what it's made out of too. You know, if it's got anything like,
Foam and wood.
yeah, but outside the foam, if it's any sort of plaster or something like that, it's either going to be
Yeah.
really uh, sturdy or uh,
Really
brittle.
fragile.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
one drop of a crate or something, and
yeah. I don't think he does any plaster.
okay,
Yeah. 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 So that's Zerp Zerp. And
hand carried by Chinese people. Yeah, you're only going to get so far. I mean, if it's down the road, maybe even 100 miles, but you got to go over any body of water or anything like that. It would literally be cheaper to just fly there and build it there.
I think he has done that for GW.
Awesome, awesome.
Uh,
But at some point, that thing's going to get destroyed, and if that's the case, you might as well build in little explosives. You know what I'm saying? Some firecrackers, some M80s. Just saying.
yeah. You wanting to destroy everything.
No, just I mean, it's going to happen, so you might as well. I mean, think of the viewership of him blowing it up.
Yeah.
If he had the right people come in,
I think
you
he
know,
has smashed things, but
have some people come in and rig it so that you could do the you know,
yeah.
guaranteed a lot of people would watch that. They'd all be crying at the end, but better to get something out of it intentionally than something bad happened to it and then you just got to throw it in the landfill.
Hmm.
At least that way you get a little fun. I mean, out of it, and it's intentional as opposed to that one day you walk in and it's like, oh my god, water leak or something, and it's
Yeah.
ruined.
Well,
You kind of heartbreaking.
yeah. So dang. Yeah. I don't know. 7 year old. Yeah, like he has a video from 3 years ago where he smashes.
One of his projects.
Yeah, or at least the thumbnail looks like that. I think he ripped it apart and then used it for
Used it for.
the upgraded version.
Oh, okay. Because I could see, take it apart and using it for another project.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. there's a McDonald's, well, not very close to me anymore, but used to be close to me that had a built-in railroad throughout the whole thing because it's right by Knott's Berry Farm, which is an amusement park, and every time we'd stop or go to that amusement park, we would stop in that McDonald's, uh,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah. The fun zones of McDonald's.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, it's throughout the whole establishment. The train goes all the way around and does things. There's a big
yeah.
central section where it's like the countryside, and you can see different tiers of different lines going at different times and things like that. Which has got to be a nightmare if it ever breaks down. One little issue, and you got to have an expert come in, and those guys don't. I'm not gonna say they don't exist, but they're they're fewer and fewer every month or so. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like that's an amusement ride thing. They still train those people, so
Yeah, but it's
um
it's like it's one of the larger scale trains, eight not H, but maybe O scale. And
okay, yeah. The
how many people still do
train
that?
people, train people are trained people. They pop up just as often as they fade away. Uh, They're just not glamorized as much.
Yeah,
And
because
train maintenance is not actually that hard. Can use solder is mostly the
right.
skill
But if you
needed.
don't know, let's say they're boomers. If you don't know the layout, where everything is, all the transformers and things like that, and you know
Well, it depends on how well they have it documented, right?
that's
Like,
what I was thinking is, if
uh,
the guy who has all the documentation passes away and his wife just trashes or tosses everything.
well, they probably have it as a PDF if it's been there that long.
Maybe.
Um, McDonald's is not that much of a slacker, but like the local McDonald's to me, I've told you before, they in the mid 2010s they tore it down and rebuilt it because they wanted to put it in a drive-through. And then, like, just after they tore it down, the city put in a regulation saying no more drive-throughs. So they did all that for nothing.
Why no
Uh,
drive-throughs?
they were just too much of a hassle. Like, we have a congestion problem being
Oh,
a, a, a technical metropolis. Uh,
okay.
yeah. Um.
I can
So
see that we've got this
yeah,
restaurant called In and Out here, and on
yeah,
any given Friday night, there are 40 cars in the drive-through.
yeah. Um. But when they did that, they tore out the basement, right? And the basement was the fun area for the kids. You just go down, and
Really?
there was it was open. You just go down there, be like the sawhorses, and there was a little merry-go-round. You know,
Really?
you just sat on it. It was like you sat on it and turned on. As long as there's someone sitting on it, it would turn. Um,
Huh.
but now they barely have like a bubble pit, and it's always closed because and it's up on the main floor, taking up seating space instead of down. Obviously, it's easier for the parents to watch their kids, but
Huh.
yeah,
Get rid of the drive-throughs, make the fatties walk.
yeah,
I personally prefer dining in the In and Out because it's got that 1950s aesthetic. It's all polished, red and white tile. It's gorgeous inside,
yeah.
spotless. But
And that's another thing when they did the McDonald's, it went from that old, that old McDonald's look
Hmm.
to the new sterile, cold look that they have.
Yeah, our Burger King's that way. It's the most uninviting place, and you would, and I don't know why, because they've got like a little lounge area where with some like sort of retro looking easy chair kind of things and stools and little tables and stuff, and then a bunch of you know very sterile booths and uh, like a how to describe it. It's like a raised counter with the
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 Yeah,
permanent
the
stools.
bar stool counters.
Yeah, and there's no one ever in it. I walk
Yeah,
in, they've got the kiosk like 3 feet away from where people can help you, and that thing's already got a layer of dust on it because no one's using that thing. It's drive through. It might as well be a drive through only restaurant because nobody sits there, nobody comes in. Maybe it'll change when, or maybe it's busier during like right after school hours because I can see that. But even then, the last time I walked in, uh, as I was walking in, no, as I was walking out, a kid uh, comes up to me and says, "Hey man, can I have your receipt?" I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, because if I fill out the survey, I get a free burger." So he's going to go on his phone, fill out the survey, get a code, and walk in for a free burger because a burger is like $12 now. So
how are
you
they
know,
giving away a free burger for?
filling out a survey.
Yeah, and
That
I,
crap's
I,
got to change.
I assumed you started filling out the survey every single fucking time after that.
No, because the next receipt I got, it's the deal turned into buy one get one free with the survey.
It's still better than, yeah.
Except that the only time I go there, I'm already using a coupon, and I've been only using those coupons because it's 3 big burgers, 3 regular burgers, 3 fries for like $23 when you can't get 2 burgers for that price, which is
Yeah,
if you can afford to do the coupon, you can afford to do that all the time. And that's my opinion. Maybe they
yeah.
can. But
Well, uh, it's one of those weird things.
yeah, yeah, and I won't. Not saying I won't because Jackie's mom does every time. Uses the app for whatever restaurant. And I'm like, that's just putting people out of work. You know,
Eh,
yeah, yeah, and
it's
then
one of those things.
they say, yeah, I'm sure there's lots of that. I don't do it because I never go to restaurants without the family, and in which case, Jackie's mom's got the app for everything, and I'm just there to get fatter, so I don't worry too much about that stuff. But it's a pretty rare thing now because it's just crazy
Yeah.
for the price of fast food. So that's hopefully something I'm going to implement around here is less fast food, more eating healthy, and
Well, it's at the point is you might as well just go to like a boutique burger place because it's the same freaking price and a
well,
better burger.
it's definitely a better burger, but it's definitely not cheaper.
No,
It's
it's
about
it's
20.
it's
Well,
it's usually the same price.
the place we go, it's about $20 a plate.
Yeah, and like you were saying, it's about $20 for the burger at In-N-Out, or
Well,
12,
In and
12
Out's
for the
actually
burger.
decent. It's $10 for like a double double. A regular burger's like $7 or $8. The
Uh,
meal is I don't know 15 or something.
yeah,
But the problem with the kinds of restaurants you're talking about here, is you've got uh, the tip, you've got uh, all the other alluring items that will be purchased, the appetizers, things like that, and it's over $100 for the four of us if we want to go. Good luck. Washington State minimum wage is going up to 16.66. It's $20 here for fast food. Uh, all fast food restaurants minimum wage $20 an hour.
Yeah, yeah, it's like that here. 20, 21, something like that. It's the minimum wage. Uh,
It's weird that it's 16.66 though. I mean,
yeah.
couldn't they just change it a little to keep people from saying what I just said? You'd think that, like, let's just make it 16.75 or 16.50.
Wow. Probably some edgelord thought it was funny.
Really, I
I'll
think
be honest with you. If I was in that department, I would do the exact same thing just for the shits and giggles.
I can see you doing that. I used to really like Red Robin, but I haven't been in easy
Uh,
20 years. Just
uh,
they're not that easy to find out here.
I don't think we have them, but I hear the only thing they serve really well is the Long Island iced tea.
Could be. Uh, it used to be really nice. They had a couple of different things there I liked, but now if I'm going to go to a place like that, I go to Chili's and we just get the sliders because we ordered like four different things and the appetizer plate, and the best thing was the sliders. So we just ordered like two slider entree, whatever things, appetizers, and end up bringing most of the stuff back home, which is one of the few things I do like about those kind of restaurants. If you're smart, you can bring home like in doggy bag style enough for at least one more meal. Hey, monkey, say hi. See, that's my boy.
I missed them. I
I
was
miss
off
him
looking to
too.
see. No, no, I missed him just now. I was looking at a map.
Oh yeah, he's blink and he's gone.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I don't know that I'd call it upscale, but it was decent. It was definitely uh, on its way there when I first started going. Then other places came out and it dropped. We've got this area by our local mall that's it's the mall surrounded by little restaurants like that, and most of them are empty, just empty buildings now. When the Sears went out of business, that was the beginning of the end during COVID. All the better places. The only one that stayed open is Chili's, I think, a Carl's Jr. and Yard House, which
Yeah.
is uh,
Sears and Roebuck. Uh, yeah, like I told you when they went out of business here, because our mall had a Sears in it and a Zellers. Zellers was a chain.
of a clothing store, right?
Um, it basically had all the same stuff Sears did,
Oh, okay,
but cheaper.
okay.
I think it might have even been the same company, like the actual company that owned them. Um, but yeah, the Zellers went out of business, and then well, what? 7 years later, a decade later, Sears
What's
went
up,
out of
RPGX?
business. Uh, yeah, so they were both in the same mall. Uh, the Zellers became a Walmart, and then the Sears became Home Depot.
Let's see that. I
Yeah.
thought the Habit was just like a really local place, but I guess not. And I haven't seen a Foster's Freeze in decades.
Mm. Oh, I don't know any of these places.
Super Burger, that could easily be uh, a mom and pop place that's getting bigger, because I've never heard of it. But the Habit, we've got one down the street, and I, I their food's crap as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. It's really not that good. Uh,
Yeah, the nearest Red Robin, speaking of that, to me is in Buffalo. There's two of them there. And it's literally listed as Red Robin Gourmet Burger and Brews. Uh, so
really?
yeah, yeah. Like that's their full name, Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews.
Oh no, I was talking about what Cal said. They have
Oh,
three Fosters, and yeah, I do remember Fuddruckers, TGI, and there was another one.
Fuddruckers. Fuddruckers.
Yeah,
Uh,
ours is like I've only been twice, and it literally seemed like they made their burgers with hate, just filled with hate. Like they just hated the
yeah.
customer, hated the job. Uh,
Fuddruckers is like they're only in your state. Or Frosty Freeze, sorry. I clicked on the wrong thing.
hmm.
I want Fuddruckers.
Foster Freeze is a lot like the A&W restaurants. Lots of
A&W? Yeah, but they're actually everywhere.
a lot of ice cream things,
Yeah.
banana splits and ice cream cones and different things like that. Uh,
Yeah.
you used to
Uh
have one right across from where I played football,
Fucking
so that place.
A&W had a massive explosion in my area, like here in Toronto, and specifically on the this side of the river in Toronto, the Riverdale-ish, like East York area.
So
Uh,
you know Jughead and Archie personally?
yeah, yeah. They live in my writing. Uh, at least a dozen locations have popped up since like 2016. Uh, in the last decade,
That-
just
that-
in
that- that-
in just in like the 3 kilometer radius around
it-
me.
I was wondering about that because, like, I remember when I was younger, root beer was a thing,
Hmm.
and then it wasn't. Like
Yeah,
everybody just nobody liked it anymore, and so the A&Ws disappeared. Uh, I have to assume that for an A&W restaurant to be successful, root beer and cream sodas and things like that
I
still
don't
kind
know
of
about cream soda, but they have other stuff on tap. But yeah, they have like by the cash at the one nearest to me. They have like just a fridge, a glass fronted fridge. There's nothing but mugs. Um, like the classic uh mugs. So
right.
if you're dining in, you can ask for one of those, and it will be frosted. Uh,
Nice.
yeah.
So my point is that in your area, then root beer is still kind of popular.
Well, uh, I I guess they have like their burger family.
Uh huh.
I'm just pulling up a map here, right? So
That's
uh,
decent.
yeah, you can obviously see all the locations, and I don't think there were two locations in this same space, right? This being the Riverdale area here,
Hmm.
and I think it's like these two that are the ones I mainly see. But yeah, oh, you couldn't see my mouse. I was over the Riverdale areas on this side of the map. Uh,
Because I mean, it's not like okay, Barks root beer when it came out was kind of like you could barely tell it was actually root beer. It was kind of bitter almost.
it had like an after bite.
Yeah,
Like
it was
Barks got
almost
bite was
unpleasant.
their slogan.
It was
Uh,
almost unpleasant, and then they changed it a while back. But you can't
did they?
find root beer on a menu anywhere in California. It's just
That's odd. Yeah, root
and
beer's still like sold everywhere. Um,
I'm gonna look in the next time I go to the grocery store because I don't buy soda anymore, so I
yeah,
haven't seen. But I would be willing to bet that there's but one brand or one.
my favorite pop is root beer. And the reason why Barks is different is because it's a Jamaican root beer and not a English one. Um, so it's got a different like palate
What's up, TCG?
from
How
what
was
I
the game?
understand.
Uh, Bruce's game didn't happen, but
Huh,
but I got a wild hair up my ass
About
and
what?
offered everybody a wild hair and offered everybody in the group to play what I have done so far of the Hungry Halflings of Feastmore. And holy shit, nothing went awry. Everything worked exactly like it was supposed to.
cool. Glad to hear it.
Cool, cool. This sounds good.
Okay, TCG, root beer, yay or nay?
Yay, obviously.
I actually don't know. Not because I haven't had it, but because my taste for soda has changed, and I haven't had a root beer since I lost the taste for soda.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I
When you
recommend
liked
you.
soda, did you drink root beer?
Yes.
Yes.
Though
Okay.
admittedly, I still like root beer floats.
Oh yeah. Oh
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
God. Now I want one. Shit.
Fuck, man. I'm
Henry
gonna have to go to
Weinhardt's
this.
root beer made by brewery mass market is still good. Yeah, I'm gonna go check my local grocery store and see if there's anything even in that aisle because it just seems like
I'm pretty sure A&W will be prominently
or
visible.
maybe Mug root beer, which was the other
Mug,
big brand out here.
yeah,
Uh,
mugs. What's just Coke? I think.
yeah, same thing with ginger ale.
No,
That's like
Pepsi.
that's like hard to find. It seems like here the the trend is for more like fruitier flavored sodas. You know, berry flavors and things like that. The whatever the red version of Mountain Dew and Squirt and things like that. And
It's very easy to remember what the red version of Mountain Dew is called. It's Mountain Dew Code Red.
right, no, I mean whatever the flavor is, I have no idea.
Red.
I do know that
The
the
flavor is red.
it's the flavor's red, right?
No,
Like
literally, it actually has no direct like most they claim like a regular Mountain Dew is citrus, but if you actually look up the ingredients, it has no actual natural equivalent. They literally use chemicals to flavor their soda.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm in California, Paul, so you would think that there, but then again, I'm in a really small little out of the way little town.
Called Los Angeles.
Well, I'm in Los Angeles County, but I'm out in the boonies at the one of the far edges where it's mostly desert and cactus. So that
Yeah,
could be it. But even when I lived in Orange County, it just seemed like some of those like old timey flavors, ginger ale, root beer, cream sodas, were just like pushed out of the way for the new sort of like Twinkie sodas,
yeah,
just pure chemical, not a real flavor, just some some mixture of things that are sweet, but you can't define it to like pineapple
yeah.
soda or orange crush or something like that. It's just like Crafty was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
know. I hate
I
it
think
too.
though Mountain no, we'll give Mountain Dew this. They made one soda that was not just pure chemicals, and that was Gamer Fuel. It actually had real orange in it, but I think I was the only one that had real fruit in it.
Squirt was did have grapefruit in it. That
No,
was
no,
the
I meant
flavor?
the only Mountain Dew.
Oh, okay.
I I don't know if they do it anymore, but back when Seven Up was first, like even back when I was a kid, that was actually real citrus. I don't know if they do that anymore because it's
Right.
got a weird ass flavor. Ugh.
Mm.
Yeah. Even
So,
before I lost my taste for soda, Seven Up, it tasted too weird to me because they changed the
yeah.
recipe.
Actually, Paul, it's been years since you've been able to get one. They're pretty much booked. During COVID, I was looking into it, and they said they were booked for the next like 2 years for U-Haul. They had no trucks.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
There's
When,
always a
when,
U-Haul around here.
well, I mean, when a million people a year are leaving, and God knows how many are coming in,
Yeah, that is true.
it's oh, Mountain Dew, my crack. Yeah, I gave up sodas. I gave up everything about I
so,
think
so,
eight
so
or
the
9 years
thing,
ago.
the thing you want to do is you want to buy a used truck, right? All right, you want to buy a used truck and see what the requirements for renting out a truck are in Texas.
Yeah,
And you buy the used truck, and then you use it to move to Texas, and then you just rent it out when you get there. That's a revenue stream.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. I can believe it. It's easier to use a truck and cattle trailer. Yeah, I can imagine. Just that uh, I got so much stuff that it would literally take like 2 trucks to move out, and that's assuming that half the furniture I'm not even going to take with me, because I learned a long time ago most furniture is not worth the effort.
Well, you could also see how much it costs to hire a cargo container.
Yeah, that's what I did to get back from Virginia. I basically put everything I owned on a cargo truck, and I raced it via Greyhound, and I beat it by like 2 weeks, which kind of sucked because all I had was what I carried with me into back into California. And in
Well,
retrospect,
you can still carry the bulk of stuff. Well, you put the bulk of stuff in the cargo container, but the living essentials you put in boxes in the back of the
no,
right. Like
I took a
you
very large duffel bag on Greyhound to get back to California.
well, I'm like talking the cargo container for your miniatures and your movie supplies, your
Oh, I didn't even
movies.
have any miniatures at the time. It was
No,
it
no.
was
When
mostly
you
comic
go
book.
to Texas,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That would
yeah.
be uh,
And then the stuff you take with you are like a couple of weeks of clothing and your kitchen stuff and
yeah,
medication.
and even a lot of that. Uh, some things would be cheaper to just buy brand new when you get there.
Yeah,
Uh,
like
things
your
like
Billies.
blenders and toasters, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Well,
Especially,
if you're just throwing them in the back of your truck, your car, and driving there,
yeah.
yeah, it'd probably be worth it. But sorry, Jackie, you gotta hold that toaster in your lap for the next 3 days.
It's about 3 days.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends on the route. When I getting going there, we had to go through New Mexico, and that was going to Virginia. We went through New Mexico, Texas, Tennessee. I don't remember, but this was just apparently just New
You,
Mexico and then Texas, and
you're roughly in the Lancaster area, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes, I did, but this was 30 years ago, when California wasn't as bad, and Virginia was really bad, which I didn't know going into it.
and what area in Texas are you looking at? The Fort Worth area?
Near, I think it's Denton, somewhere within 30 to 45 minutes of Denton,
Okay, I'm not seeing Denton.
or Temple, because that's where Omen and Brian live.
Okay, what's the major city? Oh,
I don't
Temple.
know.
I see Temple.
You have a cousin in Lancaster? Yeah, I'm
By
thinking
car.
maybe
Okay,
maybe.
so 21 hours straight, but you're not going to do that. Assuming you take Route 10,
Yeah.
uh, which seems to go through all the way. Um, or yeah,
Oh well, I heard it too. What the hell?
yeah. The beep.
Yeah,
Yeah, you heard me write that in the video the other day, right? You saw me write that. I heard
yeah,
a fucking beep.
yeah. I thought I covered. I thought I got all that. I think it's that one.
Man,
As soon
your
as I have
house is
dollars
cursed.
to burn, I'll look into it.
Um, yeah, 21 hours by car. It says
Uh,
from Temple or from Lancaster to Temple. Generic, like
uh
just type in the district names. So,
Right.
um, so you're probably not going to do a 24-hour straight driving trip. So you break that up into whatever you think your operator can do in a single.
Yeah, it's definitely going to require a pit stop, whether it be a hotel, motel, something like that. In
Uh, I would like to apologize for doing a drive-by, but I just got an invite to Kai and Bruce stream. I only get to see those two once every 2 weeks.
All right, be that way. No, actually, tell them I said hi and find out when we're going to do the little reunion thing I recommended or suggested. New
Okay.
Year's just about on us.
Yeah. All right. See you guys later.
Yeah, well, party
Take
on,
care,
man.
man.
We've been at this for an hour.
Yeah, a little over.
Yeah.
Shit, did I just put a hole in that? I did.
Is it this Thursday coming up or the one after for book club?
It's this one.
This one, okay.
Yep. And I don't even remember the book, but I will uh, get on it probably Monday. Yeah, I know it's in the Discord, but I just didn't take the
Yeah,
time to look at it. Lately, I've been, well, up until a couple days ago, I was riding up a storm, and now I'm taking a break because that was a long ass challenge. Hold on a second.
yeah. He's muted because there's a telenovela on, and he doesn't want to get demonetized because someone in Mexican said, "I want to bone your face." Yeah. Once we sit down and talk, and we'll engage with the reading list.
No, what is that? That's the reading list.
Yes.
And what's the next one?
This lady right here, and it's the first one.
Play
Uh,
bracket.
yeah. Uh, lay bracket. And it's the first one. I've been adding the YouTube links when I've been finding them,
Okay, cool.
and remembering. So,
And remember,
uh,
that's the key.
yeah. So like these are the three. There was this book, Black Amazon of Mars.
Oh, okay.
It's not the one. This is the third one. We're doing the first one in the series. Queen of the Martian, whatever.
Right. You
Um,
know, all of them do have a very sort of John Carter esque sort of sound to them, don't they?
yeah, I think it's a very similar thing. Uh, Before the listing for the third book had a sub option of two because it's also released in two volumes. But I found the full thing in audio, so I just removed that. If you remembered that,
Okay.
uh, because there were optional. I think it's probably two stories in that book or something. Or
Take care, Paul. We'll see you next week.
yeah. So
Unless you come
so
back.
yeah yeah. See you, bro. Um. So we'll do the first one in this series. That was I think my pick. Just
All
because it
right.
was there. Uh, and we'll see if we like this chick's writing or not. And well, it's
Yeah,
there. I
I was thinking about that, and I've noticed, because almost everything is what 1977 or older.
yeah. Generally by requirement, since the book was published in '77, and I did my best to remove anything written after that, except for in a couple of rare occasions.
Hmm. I think it's gonna prove that not only is a lot of stuff dated, but mostly holdovers from the pulp era.
Yeah. I reposted it in the group chat. It was already there, but some stuff
Okay,
had been popped up after it. So
okay, cool. Yeah, I've been trying to get on them the Monday prior to the show, so
yeah,
I'm not you know racing at the last minute. Especially since one of my resolutions for the new year is to uh, shit can a lot of the, not unsubscribe, but just stop watching every little thing that comes up from so and so. There's a few people that I'll always watch, but other people I'm like, don't care. I want to spend more of that time listening to audiobooks. I actually started listening to Lord Fowl's Bane, and it wasn't awful. I know an awful scene is coming up that everybody knows anything about the story knows there's a grapey scene by the main protagonist.
protagonist or antagonist.
Protagonist,
So the good guy. Uh,
which
yeah,
which by virtue of what I just said, kind of makes him not the good guy. He's an anti-hero, if you will. Doesn't want to be the hero. Blah blah blah. But
yeah. Now this book here, the Queen of the Martian, whatever. You could definitely do a day of because it's only 2.5 hours long.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
it's a short one.
good to know.
Yeah,
Good to know. Because I do want to actually try to get back to either audiobooks or maybe actual some old TV and movies in the upcoming year while I'm not writing. But
yeah,
more than anything, I want to do more writing. I couldn't believe that I pumped out. I want to say like 40 pages in 2 days.
yeah. That's pretty good. The more you get into the habit, the easier that will be. Um,
Yeah,
but like doing a rough draft in 6 weeks, especially with how infrequently or like a first draft in 6 weeks, that's pretty good.
Mhm.
right? For that, and you could easily, like I said, because there's a lot of areas where you were getting a concept more than prose, and like you need to practice. We all do.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Oh, I knew I knew what
you could
areas I would
easily,
definitely have to work more on than others, but it was one of those stories like the storm that the more I wrote, the more I knew it had to go further than I expected.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Right. But I do want to, try to curb that behavior of trying to write the epic novel when it's a short story.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Well, like with the very first one I wrote, I already have the beginnings of the next two chapters. Even though the first story was a short story, it
Yeah,
was over and done in 40 pages. Or well, actually, if I reformat it, it's probably a lot longer. But
yeah,
uh, I know that if I put those kind of limitations, because like with that story, each of the first three chapters are completely different stories, but they connect and it makes sense why they connect, etc. So if the next assignments that we put upon ourselves are we put a little more into the whatever the theme or the prompt or whatever is for the challenge, I'll have less of those kinds of issues because that's what for the last one, including the subject matter. If it's something with less possibilities of going on and on and on and on, that'll probably help me out more than the
yeah,
last couple of stories because they literally could have gone on for 1,000 pages if I had the time, and I don't.
yeah. Well, that like I highly recommend take take with you when you're watching movies or listening to books or reading books, a little notepad or whatever. And whenever you see a cool scene or something, write that down. Because stealing scenes is like perfectly fine.
Yeah,
Um, Obviously, you put your own characters in there instead of the
right,
ones that they
right.
have and whatnot.
Yeah.
But and then like I highly recommend you start like find some sort of framework. You can look for one, and it'll give you an idea of structuring, like tempo structuring in storytelling. Because there is that in storytelling as well, like
Yeah, well,
good
I
tempo.
for the last couple of well, I don't know if I did that for that, but for this story, I was definitely going by the Lester Dent pulp method. I was definitely throwing that in,
Yeah,
using the ups and downs rhythm of that, because it was nothing but bad stuff happening to the characters, which is the way pulp
yeah,
is. You get the good part at the end, and you're done.
yeah. Um, we'll have that like on a tab that you can open up in like you know how the tabs work now on Google
Mhm.
Docs. So like create that and put it on a tab and
Well, I just have it
rename.
as a separate document. It's because it's
Yeah,
pretty lengthy for what I usually put in the tabs, but
yeah,
that's something I have to do though is uh, read more instead of listening to the latest bullshit on YouTube. Is even if it's an audiobook, is absorbing more new content because my usual habits, been to reread things I've already read, and I don't need to read any more Lovecraft. I don't need to read any more Howard. Although I do want to make finish my last pass through Conan all the way to the end, as well as Lieber's books, uh, Fafhrd the Grey Mouser, but read more, just actual do more reading instead of
yeah.
watching.
Well, I think it's your pick next for the books. So pick one of those two or three. But pick a Fafhrd Grey Mouse or Conan.
Might do, might do.
What's his name? Uh, Zelazny.
Lovecraft. Oh, Zelazny. Maybe I was going to save that for April because that's my birthday month. So I figured, April or May because May's Roger's birthday, and since he was such a big influence on my life in person and his books, that I like to do a tribute. But I really, even though most people didn't like most of the books we've gone through, I've found a lot of amusement in parts of the
They're
books we've read
they're
recently.
not super bad. It's just
Oh yeah, there was a lot of bad, but the good that was there was good that I hadn't experienced before. Mostly
yeah.
because I haven't read the stories at all or the authors, and there were surprises. It,
You're going to notice a significant difference in the way things are written from the pre 60s to the modern era because I'm going to give you Prince Roger, the first one, March Up Country, and it's 17 hours long. That's the standard length for a novel
yeah,
written
Lord
post
Falzbane is
90s.
22 hours,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it's 17 hours and there's no section of it that's wasted through like serialized repetition from being in a magazine,
right, right.
right?
It was funny. I was watching uh, uh, a video on pulp, and the author didn't say, or the YouTuber or whatever didn't say what the stories were at first. He just describes the story. And I'm like, I know that one. I know that one. Two out of the first three, I knew, almost instantly what stories
Hmm.
he was talking about. And it's funny because one of the Gray Mouser stories is about the Mouser and Gray Mouser and Fafford being hired to go into this, like, basically like a dungeon, right? And it turns out because there's a monster in the dungeon, and it turns out the monster is the dungeon. Gosh, that doesn't sound familiar, does it? I was like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
and I
oh
plan on
my.
making that dungeon my bitch.
Mhm. And speaking of which, I've got. I don't know if you saw any of the stuff I posted in Discord
Nah,
for it.
I rarely,
I
if ever, check.
I already put in some of the NPC images, and I did a little bit of airships because Off Grid Gaming wants to make some airships, and I'm like, it
I
took me
see we make a bunch of them.
in 2 minutes I created like half a dozen pretty nice airship images that if he doesn't use, I'm gonna. It's like, oh, guess what? These guys do that too. Or something to that effect. What
I
the
like
heck?
that one that you had up there with like a town.
Being invaded,
Yeah, or they're like going through the streets, just like
wrecking shit.
were they? I don't recall. Uh, those are pirates. I think you're putting things in different places. What's a redhead? Uh,
A lot of black and red imagery. Those ones.
I'm not finding it.
And again, those images took all of 2 minutes to come up with, and
Yeah.
they really tell a story all on their own. Just like boom, you can infer a ton of different story hook ideas just from the one image. Even some of the NPCs that I've come up with lately.
Where did
Just
you put it?
I think it's actually. Oh, you know what? You saw it on my actual uh, Night Cafe account. They're not posted in Discord.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I will go over there and
and that's another thing I'm going to be doing in the new year is spending a little more time doing that. Normally, I only spend about 15 minutes on Night Cafe a day just to get the free credits and do the things and make a single image so that, or maybe half a dozen images, so I get the extra 25 credits every 5 days. But I'm going to be using it for, even if I don't use the images, uh, just
Yeah,
for my D&D games. I'm going to be starting to make images for whatever I'm writing because you know the old saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. If I can create
yeah,
a good image and let the AI help me out to flesh it out, like with Bobby's perfect example. The image helped me come up with more of his personality than I would have done on my own.
yeah. We've got to sit down with Doc and tell him to just fucking publish his work on freaking Amazon already, because all he needs is cover art, and if he's
Hmm.
got no problem with AI, he could
Yeah,
probably find something. Uh,
yeah. Too many people just don't see the benefit.
well, it's not that he's like, I want to save up to buy an ISBN number, and it's like, fuck, man, no. If you're publishing on Amazon, you don't need it.
Yeah,
uh he says he's already going to publish there, right? And it's like, you only need that if you're going to go into stores, and still you technically don't need it. It's just how you search for things using the old
yeah. I mean,
catalog
because he can
system.
literally
Well,
buy 200 copies of his book and go door to door to his local game shops and say, hey, I'll
well,
give you a deal.
that's the thing, is like, usually if you're going to get your book into a brick and mortar store, they want a 55% discount.
Hmm.
um and still, like, the only, like, literally the only reason to do that is for the vanity reason of walking into a store and saying, that's my book.
Hmm.
Like, that's the only thing you get out of it.
Right,
It's got a far lower
and you could
push
literally
rate.
print any price on the book that could be far above what Amazon's going to charge. Correct?
Amazon will price match to a lower price. So if you put somewhere a lower price, then Amazon, they'll auto adjust the
No, I
price
meant
to
like
it.
if you
But
print it on the back cover, 24.99, but it doesn't
yeah,
cost you that to get it from Amazon. There's
yeah,
that you
yeah.
can do that, right?
You can do that, and usually it's recommended to put your price by the barcode on the back,
Yep.
and it is pretty much standardized. I gotta pull it up, the layout for books these days. Like, it used to be a little more flexible on how you could lay things out, but these days it's pretty standard. I'm gonna pull up a template here. One Shadow's paying attention, he'll bring this template up.
Sorry, something was
Yeah,
hitting my
yeah,
feet.
yeah. I'll just let the audience know. Uh,
Well, I had it for a second.
yeah, give me a second. Oh no, it fucking just, it out and out closed on me. Sorry about that. That was some weird glitch on my end. Okay. That's the largest I can get that, I think. Maybe
Okay,
try
I'll
that.
do it on my end. Okay.
Um,
Oh,
yeah. So this is a template generated. Amazon has a cover template generator. Um, and basically you want to follow the instructions, right? And the template generator mostly just adjusts the stuff written. You can see where my cursor is moving back and forth, like the sizes, right? So you type in your trim size and how many pages it is, and it adjusts what it is. But like your barcode and your ISBN number goes down here,
Okay.
and it's always like it tells you specifically leave the space blank, right? For the barcode, and if you don't buy an ISBN number because you have to in the states, um, when you upload to Amazon, it has a checkbox. Do you have an ISBN number and barcode? And it's either yes or no. And if you hit no, it just puts one in here automatically, right?
Okay.
But instead of it being an ISBN number, it's an AS whatever. It's the Amazon internal version of that. So you can't use that number outside of Amazon, right? You'd have to put a different one on. But if you're not, if like I say, put it on Amazon. That's 80% of the global market. And then once you got enough money coming in, you can go into Amazon and edit that, right? Like take whatever image you put here, because this is your back cover on this side, and this is your
Right.
front cover, because the way we read books,
Right.
it would fold that way, um, and the spine being the middle. The checkered blue line is obviously where the fold is going to statistically
Mhm.
be or likely be, and the pink is like definitely do not put anything you need to be visible in that area, right? So don't have any writing there. You can have like the image bleed out there, but it should be like if you got like a landscape, maybe there's a couple of trees that might be in that area or whatever. No characters' faces, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, and then just generally like try and hit the information it suggests you
Yeah, it's
put
funny.
down.
I was looking at my copy of Men. It was either Men or Shauner's book. I'm not sure which. And
Yeah,
like the page numbers were all cut from the
yeah,
bottom.
because it even gives you like that same recommendation um for the internal pages. Like
Right.
there's just this exact same thing, but
So that's the
it's
margin of error, right?
yeah, it's the margin of error. The likely place the cut is going to be is where the black line is, but the margin of error is the pink on either side.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah. Don't put your page numbers there. Put them up in the upper right or
yeah.
bottom left hand corner, bottom right hand
Uh,
corner.
it alternates or the center, but still it shifts because the gutter on the inside is alternating per page, right? So it's not the same. It's like spread out,
I prefer
but
them in the upper right hand corner personally.
yeah, upper right. Well, obviously, if it's alternating because it's the left
Yeah.
hand on the left page and right on the right page. Um, so the even number pages is the right hand, the left hand,
Yeah.
and the odd is the right. Uh, which I'm backwards. This is this is my left. Uh, yeah, left. Very easy to tell what one's the left hand. It's the one that forms the L when you look at it. It's-
Never thought of it like that, but yep.
yeah. Uh, yeah. You know the smart kids when they figure that one out on their own. Shadow. That's right. It's why he makes his living with gay porn.
I I knew that was coming. It's not true, folks, but I knew it was coming.
Shut up, lies.
That's funny. I'm getting ready. I was getting ready to, or going through my last year's uh, our favorites award that we do every year, and Jackie's like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." I'm like, tough shit. I don't
I'm
ask
doing
you
it.
for much. You're helping me read these cue cards. for the awards, and I was uh, noticing how much things have changed. Uh, like last year, Bo got best painter. Last
Yeah.
year, best game review was Max Liao. I haven't watched the show in a year. Most informative was DM James. I was watching him this afternoon, and he said something uh, incredibly profound that I'd never heard before, along the lines of if everywhere you go it smells like shit, check your own shoes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And most wholesome YouTuber of last year was, of course, Father Aaron.
This
Yeah,
guy.
I'm pretty sure he's just going to get that award in perpetuity, just because there is nobody more wholesome than Father Aaron. Uh,
Now, I've paid attention to that guy. He's not all that wholesome.
no, right? He's a little feisty every once in a while. Funniest YouTuber last year was Mage's Musings. I haven't
Yeah.
watched him probably but half a dozen times since then. Best attitude, still Brian and Mel.
Oh, yeah. Now, I want to put myself in the contending for most wholesome. You know, I am trying to save your soul by getting you to stop producing gay porn.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's a fairly wholesome thing I'm doing there.
Best crafter was Squirrel Hermit. I don't think he's getting it this year because he has been very, very busy this year. Best GM was Rick from 28. Also, haven't talked to him in a year, at least a year. Favorite
Yeah.
chill stream, Fritz. Same thing. Have hardly seen hide nor hair of him. Uh, favorite chill stream, Hungar. How things have changed.
Yeah.
Favorite writer
Well,
creator. He's got no excuse. He can do an
who?
hour a week. You know.
Who? Hungar? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Favorite creator was Venger, but no surprise, he hasn't put out much this year, so it's going to somebody else. And a couple other people at
Well,
the end. But
am I eligible for a favorite chill stream? I do a chill stream.
yeah, you are eligible.
Okay. I don't know because I'm your co-host on this show. Is it kind of
But
cheaty?
the only problem I see with that is that your show is called Reckless Rants, and it's almost anything but chill.
Shut up.
It's a little ranty. It's a little
In the words of I think it's Ryan James, that Screen Rants guy, get way off my back.
you got if you're honest with yourself, it's not conducive to chilling. It's more conducive to getting shit done and you know, waking up and smelling the coffee. Which I was also thinking of maybe this year we might want to push the show back earlier
Oh,
again because ever since we moved it forward for Mr. Max, he's not showed up. Have you noticed?
yeah. I don't know. He showed up a bit for a while there, but
But yeah,
yeah,
lately he's been
yeah.
super busy, and uh, I noticed that like the what I thought was trying to do Mr. Max a favor ended up like fucking me in the ass because Jackie leaves for school at 8:30, and I'm sitting there for an hour and a half. Like, what am I gonna
Okay.
do? Until the show, I can't like do certain things. You know what I mean? Like take a nap, which I'm also trying to kill the need for that by getting to bed at a reasonable hour. By reasonable, I mean midnight. Uh, so maybe we might want to think about. I don't know if you were having the same issue where after the show, like for me, I've got after the show, I've only got 4 hours till the little guy gets home, and that doesn't give me a whole lot of time to get into any real project or activity before he does get home.
Hmm.
And I want to get more done while he's gone, so that way when he's home, I can spend some time with him. Even though almost every night I've got something right after dinner. It's like right after dinner, I've got either a show or a game, which is okay because that gives him time to hit the shower, do some homework, stuff like that. But 8 o'clock rolls around, and I'm like, hey, we got 2 hours. Let's watch a movie or something like that. So I'm gonna be switching my schedule up to either do that or, you know, I like the last 2 nights that I was writing, I wrote from like right after dinner until 10 o'clock. One night I
Hmm.
was up writing till 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'd rather be doing that uh, to not as late or during the daytime. But the daytime's hard because I've got chores, I've got laundry and yard
Hmm.
work and cutting firewood and stuff like that because it burning
Well,
daylight.
the laundry cycle is like half-hour increments, right? So you could probably write. You probably take the laptop into the laundry room.
No, actually, the funny thing about that, all my devices have the magnet on the bottom, so they stick to the washer or dryer. If I lay it down, it'll stick, and that activating of the magnet actually will shut off my device. I don't know if you've ever had that issue. I found out initially with my tablet because I'm usually walking around the house carrying it, moving it from place to place so I can still hear it. And
I'm not aware of any magnets on. None of my devices have magnets on them, so
well, it's inside, and it literally my tablet literally sticks to the washer or dryer if I don't put it on like some already folded laundry or something like that, or even the soap cup, and I'll like put it on
you
there
don't
so it
have like
stick.
one of those cases. They have those like
Yeah, even with the
flip.
case, it'll stick.
That's very fucked up.
Yeah, it kind of is because I do tend to, and I think I'm going to need a new tablet this year. Mine's like 2 or 3 years old, and it's starting
Yeah.
to have issues. And it was fantastic for the first, you know, probably 2 years. It was freaking awesome. Did everything I
Hmm.
wanted, lightning speed, and now it's taken forever to charge because the original charger died, and it's having other issues with integrating with certain software and things like that. So I'm gonna have to start saving up. What do you want? I know what you want, but I'm not giving you belly rubs.
Uh,
But oh, that's what happened. You got something stuck in your nose out there. When I was out having a smoke, he's over by the bushes, and I hear him just yelp. I'm like, I'm over here, dude. I didn't do shit. And then he comes up to me, and he's got something. And he had literally like a little thorn stuck in his nose.
no, that
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah. But yeah, this year I definitely I'm going to do a lot of different things. I know we all say that, but for me, if and I know Justin, if we're going to get anything printed and published, we're going to have to do a lot of things to really move in that direction and cut out a lot of the BS. For me, admittedly, the last year was a lot of doom scrolling because of the election and other things that were going on, other issues that I care about and was paying attention to. And this last year, I was blown away by how many of the channels that I watch that I really like and respect when it comes to their opinions on things were just regurgitating the same damn story. I didn't notice that last or the year before.
They were doing it back then as well. The thing I really hate is like they regurgitate, but there's no opinion or analysm. They don't analyze like what these things mean. Like a lot of those channels,
Mhm.
they don't have like a perspective or an ethic or like or like there's one I listen to a podcast that is the same days we do our show um on my channel uh but they do have like an ethic
Mhm.
a
A lot of the
framework.
channels
They
I
make
watch do
predictions.
do have ethics, and and they're not always perfectly aligned with my own, but
Yeah.
I do, I'm able to discern, where they're coming from, and where
Yeah.
our opinions differ. But I watch them because of where our opinions, mesh or align. But I'm okay with watching some people. But it was like whatever the given story was, they would all have these like clickbaity titles, and
Mhm.
I wouldn't actually be able to know. I couldn't tell what the story was until you click on it and watch, and then you find out, oh, they're talking about that. Well, I've already watched 8 videos about that. I
Yeah.
made up my opinion within the first 2 or 3 times I heard about story X, and I'm like,
Well,
yeah, okay, I know
the
what the story is. My opinion's not going to change no matter who I watch. Maybe someone's going to bring a little like a tiny little piece of the puzzle that nobody else reported on. But is it worth 20 minutes? No.
there's that, and a lot of the times they see the news article and they do no research beyond that. So
No. To me, it seems like the people I watch, what they did is they watched some other YouTuber's video,
and just
did a little
regurgitated it.
did a little research, and then give their own spin on it. And
Well,
but they
that's
don't
the
tell
thing
you
is,
that
I highly doubt they do the research either, right? Like,
some of these people, that's their job
yeah,
essentially. They're YouTubers. That's all they do. So
no, no, no. It's worse on YouTube for not doing the research.
well,
It's worse
some folks yes, some folks no. But yeah, uh,
because
don't.
like in case the C63 thing, I called you on
Yeah,
a few
yeah.
months ago, yeah, and that was the like, and I see that same cycle happening with almost everything.
Right. Well,
Is they'll take a party line, not know what the fuck they're talking about, not knowing that the original story they read was a lie to begin with, and run with it. For those of you out there that don't know C63, a few months ago here in Canada, they passed a new law, or they brought a law for proposal before the parliamentary library. That's the where we go through where our laws come from. Um, and it was done under the hate speech section of our legal system, and all YouTube, the right wing YouTube, was like, they're expanding hate speech laws. You're going to get shut down for whatever. Uh, Note, it only affects social media companies, and specifically with their uh, lackadaisical attitude on taking down child pornography, hidden camera porn, so camera in the bathroom, revenge porn, and non-consensual deep fakes. So if you like put someone's face over a celebrity's body with AI, because
I
that's like a new
was gonna say how I mean, what kind of dumbass puts themselves in a situation to where revenge porn can be a thing?
there are dumbasses, right? Like you think you're making something kinky for your partner, and then you break up and they put it out on
Okay,
the
because I was thinking
internet.
completely different. Whereas uh, two people get together and they go, "Oh, hey, let's film this," and it'd be like, "No,
Yeah,
hell,
yeah. Well, people are dumb, right? Because we live in the age of cameras are everywhere and everyone's got one. So,
I mean,
you know,
there are a couple instances where I can see that I mean, both people involved got to be smoking hot right off the bat. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing?
they almost never are.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got two people that are above the 80 percentile margin, of attractiveness. Okay, I
That
suppose.
bar is a lot lower than you think it is.
Yeah, I'm guessing, but just no, just don't do that. Just don't. If you're that much of a narcissist or a voyeur, just do what they did back in the 60s and 70s. Mirrors everywhere, one over the seat, over the bed if you got to. and you're good to go. Which is
Yeah.
funny because I don't know when and where that went out of fashion, but I haven't heard the mention of the mirrors on the ceiling probably since the '80s. But that used to be like a huge,
First of
huge.
all, you know how hard it is to get up there, get it up there, and God forbid it breaks and falls. Next thing you know, you got a piece of mirror stabbing you in the gut while you're sleeping.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I'm certain that was it, but I also know there's also other materials that you can use to get the same effect. I mean, unless you need crystal clarity, in which case, what you really need is some introspection and therapy. Just saying.
I don't know about you, but I need crystal clarity.
Um,
Uh,
what percentile that margin do you think you fall under?
man, they ain't a more sexier person on the planet than myself.
Okay, so you also need the therapy. Okay, all right.
Uh,
It's good. It's good to have some self esteem. Uh, you have to clean the mirrors regularly. Omen, I'm willing to bet cold hard cash that you've either been under a mirror or have installed one. Just saying. And good to see you, brother. Hope
yeah,
you're
where
having
are
a
you? Get in here.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
um, I would never want to go to. There's a reason why Oma now only films in hotel rooms, and not his house.
I thought that was
Uh,
Squirrel Hermit, but okay,
Shush. Omanau's regularly on the road. Um,
as a squirrel.
because we all know if we ever went into Omanau's house, there would not be a section of ceiling that isn't mirrored.
Mhm.
He wants to look up at himself in the kitchen.
I don't know. He's not a bad
And
looking guy. He's doing all the things I wish I could be doing when it comes to getting doing your knee rehab exercises. Yeah, that's what,
yeah,
like 8
yeah,
minutes. We're not going anywhere. Um,
yeah. His knee rehab.
hey, whatever it takes to stay in shape. I am a little older than him, and good for him because when he gets to my age, he'll probably be running circles around me. I'll be in my wheelchair
Well,
with my colostomy
well.
bag, and you
By the
know.
time he gets to your age,
Okay,
he'll have been dust for about 2.5 million years.
yeah. Well, I'll faked my death and moved on to my next incarnation. Um,
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure that won't be until after Jackie gives me some grandkids.
that's not happening.
Yeah, well, if it doesn't happen soon, I'll just have to have give him a little baby brother or sister, won't I?
Yeah,
I'm not leaving this vast fortune to the goodwill or whatever.
you should just sell it all and buy some cocaine. We
And buy
all
some.
know that's what you cocaine.
Oh no 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 no.
You should sell it all, buy 2.9 metric tons of cocaine with the proceeds, and with
No.
the leftovers, you could buy a couple of rent boys from Thailand.
The thought occurred
and,
to
and
me.
then you can live the life you truly want to.
No, 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 no. Uh, although I won't, I won't
I
lie.
just want to say for the audience that no seemed very half-hearted and
No, it's just
performative to me.
uh, it's funny because I was thinking, if things went a certain way, I could see myself doing what Hungar was talking about. Going down to the Philippines and just hanging out there for a while, living like a king until I, burn through everything that Jackie's not getting because he's not giving me grandchildren. Um,
Yeah,
but I don't drink, and that's like a huge part of everything overseas is like drinking.
you can
And
get into it.
I know I could. I've gotten into it, quit, gotten into it, quit, and gotten into it and quit
Yeah,
in my lifetime. And I really like the idea of staying sober for the rest of my time in this incarnation.
Yeah.
But I could also see that being like a really chill place. Get an apartment or whatever, have somebody come in and take care of my bullshit while I'm sitting away, just writing my latest sleazy novel for Amazon. Uh,
Yeah. Writing sleazy novels for Amazon is definitely a career path worth getting into.
yeah, no, I meant sci-fi or western or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, we know exactly what you meant.
But
Pumping and grinding. Woohoo!
if I was really thinking like that, I wouldn't be writing. I'd be doing. Just saying. Uh,
Yeah.
but let's face it, I'm old as shit, and I could see if things got better over there. When it came to internet and uh, other a few other things.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had good.
What?
I wouldn't be surprised if they had good internet over there.
It depends. I mean, there are times of the year where uh, hurricane season or whatever, monsoon season or whatever, where I could see it being really really bad with flooding
Yeah.
and things like that. Uh, but I also can see um, it being such a cultural shock or other distractions that it would be either like really really easy to write or really really difficult.
Hmm.
You know, I wonder who that is. Is that Omen, or is that Raven finally getting it? It's Omen. Raven,
Hey,
where are you? I sent you the link twice now. Uh, Omen,
yeah, but I was trying. Well, I was having problems with the iPad, so I had to restart it. That's all.
Hmm.
how you doing? How's the knee?
Yeah.
It's getting better. I'm gonna just need to do one more of these squats and then go back to other stuff. Anyway,
Well, keep
now,
your camera off for the squats. Just saying.
why? So y'all can laugh at me? No, no.
No, we don't need to see it.
I know.
We don't need to see you kill yourself trying to squat.
So, but
I
yeah,
don't know. I mean, he's probably one of the better in shape guys that we know.
Lies. There's nobody more physically in shape than I am. We already established this that I am the pinnacle of all masculine form.
look. Just because surface area and volume doesn't mean that you're in shape.
I am in perfect health. There's no one in better health than me anywhere ever through all of history.
Well, you know what, Justin, I would be really happy if that was true. So,
Imagine how
So would
much
he.
shittier
So
everyone's
would
health would
he.
get.
He would be in utter shock. I think is the proper turn of phrase.
Yeah.
So, Omen,
I'm a healthy individual.
you got any New Year's resolutions?
to keep working on my knee. Trying to think. Yeah, I've got something. I was going to try doing more of the Wim Hof stuff, which I've been ignoring. And then, of course, slowly getting more stuff done at my farm. But those just normal. I guess the big thing would be trying to get the beehives in next year. So
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna
hopefully,
have to invest in some 9-volt batteries this year as well. I have a bunch of them. I just gotta. What I did with
Alright.
this smoke alarm is I covered it in a roll of packing tape, thinking that would silence it, and it really didn't.
I
So I'm
mean,
just
come on, it's not that hard. I just bought some from Amazon. That's,
no, no. That's what I did. I bought like 10 of them, and I went through, and well, it turns out that everyone in the house, every smoke detector expired like a decade ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what I did was I took most of them out and replaced the ones that I could afford, and this one I just keep forgetting about it because I haven't been spending much time up here in the studio lately, and that's another thing I got to do if I'm gonna quit smoking is be up here, and you guys are gonna help me keep me busy. Every time I start to pick up the laptop, it's like no, you can't, you're not allowed. um, and stay up here doing studio stuff. Uh,
I would call you gay every time you went for a smoke, but you wouldn't be able to tell from the rest of the time I'm calling you stuff. So,
yeah, you have to come up with something else, something better, something actually true for any of that to
whoa,
work.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Who are you kidding that it's not true? We all know you have produced gay porn. This is a factual
I
statement.
didn't produce it; it
You
happened.
literally caused it to have
But
the
I didn't
space to be
produce
productive.
it. I was not. I was not the perpetrator.
No, no,
I
no, no, no. That's not what producing in media
nor
means.
was I
It means you give it
filming
space
it.
to be produced. Yes,
They
you
were
were.
filming it. I was
You
streaming it. I will say that I didn't
you were
stream it.
in charge of allowing the content to make it to the visual space.
And for how long do you think that video was?
It,
That segment.
it doesn't matter. It qualifies. There was penis
How long do you
being
think it was
touched
though?
Anyway, here's what we're
a
gonna call
minute
you.
or so.
We're gonna call you a damn hippie slacker that needs to go out and get a real job if you if you got smoking.
Um,
But
I'm definitely not a hippie. Just because
have you seen
don't
the
let the hair
hair?
don't let the hair fool you. I'm not a
The
hippie.
hair,
Uh,
and he likes disco, and
Admittedly, I do like some disco, but that doesn't make me a hippie at all. I'm pretty
and
certain the hippies
and
hated that shit.
shut up, and jam bands. He likes Fish. Fish is
Oh
his
He,
God,
favorite fucking band.
no! I don't even.
I've heard him
I've
say
heard
that
of
on.
them.
I've heard him say that.
hold it. What he is we're gonna call him a knockoff Saruman. That's what we're gonna call him. Quit it, you knockoff Saruman smoking pipe weed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we'll call you a weed smoker.
By the way, Owen,
Yeah.
this right here, this only got
Yeah.
like 3 more days left to life before it's getting trimmed off. I
Okay.
won't be doing that again. Uh,
He's gonna look all weird and shit. We
Wait,
won't
wait, wait,
recognize
wait,
him
wait, wait,
anymore.
wait a minute. You European wannabe what was his name? The Lopan. That's what
Okay.
no, I'm gonna be rocking the Greg Allman look from
sure.
the for the foreseeable future.
From the Grateful Dead.
No, fuck those guys. I hated that band. Oh God.
I never liked the Grateful Dead either. No. The whole point is
Sh-
right now,
uh,
right,
th-
right,
that's it. That's what we'll call him. We'll call him a Grateful Dead fan. We'll call him a
I,
Deadhead.
no.
Shut,
I
shut
don't
up, you
own
deadhead.
anything tie dyed. I
Oh,
I
I
have
can fix that. Just send me
don't.
like $30 and I'll send you a t-shirt.
Wait.
Unless it's in black, white, and gray, it's not happening. And it better be camouflage, not tie dye. I
He
hate tie dye. Always have. Um, I used to have a friend who wore nothing but tie dye uh, and camouflage at the same time, like cami pants and a tie dye. What do they call like a
t-shirt.
not a muscle shirt, but what were they called?
That's not tie-dye.
part of it is.
No, it's not. Tie-dye is a specific function of it's done by bleaching the fabric, and you can't get oranges that way.
Well, it has some bleaches stuff, but anyway, the whole point being is
Yeah.
that knockoff the white face of Lopan here will have to quit smoking. Otherwise, that's what we're going to call him.
He seemed more offended with the deadhead thing.
Well,
I
yeah,
freaking hate those guys. And I used to say all the time I should have been a ninja because I could like throw shit like throwing stars like nobody else I've ever met. But I'm not Asian, and
it
you
doesn't
know,
matter. You don't have to be Asian.
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Although
Did you ever watch
although
American Ninja?
technically, according to my dad, we do have some Chinese in our ancestry, which is weird
Yeah.
because you could see it in my dad. You could be like, okay, I can believe that, but not this guy. I got
Yeah.
all the genes from my mom's side.
It's funny. Okay, so Shadow's like, I want to be Asian so I can be ninja, and then whatever power does that to him turns him into a Pajit.
He turns into Pokemon. He turns into Charizard.
No, he's like Indian or something like that,
Oh,
right?
oh.
Hey man, have you watched some of that stuff? That's actually kind of cool watching some of their action movies.
No. So he could be a ninja, right? Because it's absolutely the wrong kind of Asian.
Oh, I
Right.
know. Yeah, but have you watched some of the like the
I am
Bollywood action
I am a
films?
ninja sahib.
Yeah, but I like Omen. I'm certain I got over that whole Oriental Adventures thing back in the '80s. Hey, what's up, Off Grid? Holy crap, we might as well just start playing some D&D. I got everybody here, damn near.
I got a new character.
Go wake up Armstrong and get the game rolling. You guys looking forward to tomorrow?
Yeah. But if we're gonna play right now, I want to use my new character I just created.
Good,
I am
me
a
too.
ninja sahib.
Hey man, you make fun of it, but hey, you can do all sorts of crap in there. Instead of you use your chakras through your hat and everything. Oh yeah. Actually, I mean, what surprised me is other than who is it? Is it RPG Pundit or whoever? Why in the world haven't there been more Indian RPG stuff?
That's racist.
Awesome,
Yeah.
Off Grid. I always know I can count on you. You're like the first guy there already, ready to go. I really appreciate that. I am actually looking forward to it. I had 2 games canceled this week because of holiday stuff, etc. And
I've got to look up Thief. I did not do that yet.
yeah, I'm actually I'm gonna do you a solid and let you do what they did in second edition, even though we're playing first, which is normally every level, all of your abilities just go up by like a couple of points. But in second edition, you were given 20 points every level to put into your percentages on whatever you wanted to specialize in, whether it's opening locks or picking pockets, that sort of thing. So you got to put your points where you want instead of just get a blanket. Oh, everything went up like 3%. Because maybe you do want to specialize, or at this point in your life, you really need to get better at picking pockets. So you put your 20 points or 10 points or however it works. It made a lot of sense. Wouldn't you agree, Omen?
I liked it better, but I understand why they did it for first edition. But
Yeah.
as I've been spending stuff, I understand why game design goes through it. I may not have liked it at the time, but I understand why it was there, and so I'm not against it one way or the other. I'm not against it one way or the other. Otherwise, to be honest, I would never pick pickpockets because it seems like such a worthless skill most of the time.
You know what? I get it in a way because the way it's done, but I could see how it could be so much fun if you were really, really good at it.
Sure.
Yeah, and you knew you were playing a city adventurer.
There you go. Yep.
If you're in city, it's worth a lot more. Like it makes no sense. Oh, I got pickpocket. I'm gonna go up to the lizard man and pick his fucking pocket.
Yeah, you'll never do it. Yeah. Whereas if you're, a Tomb Raider kind of character, you want those fine remove traps. That's number one.
Yeah.
Or
But if you're hanging out in a city a lot, like you can just oh, I walk through this crowd and I pick the pockets of these like just some random D4 worth of people I pick the pockets of while walking through this crowd.
Yep. And thanks, Off Grid. I really try to do all those things. One of the biggest things I learned in the last couple of years, hanging out with all you guys and playing with literally entire groups of dungeon masters, was the things that annoyed me as a player, and I try to make sure I don't ever do those things to my players because I was the eternal DM for decades and decades, and then when I start playing, I'm playing with 5, 6, 8 other dungeon masters, or at least people who like own the books and this was their thing versus the casual players, the tourists,
This
the beer and
guy.
pretzels guys, and really getting into being with I'm just going to call them professional players, even though nobody's getting paid. But it's their thing. They're doing this seriously to have serious fun.
Well, and the other thing is, this is the nice thing is, when you have all dungeon masters, they understand why choices are being made in the game,
Yeah.
rather than just like, well, I don't care how it affects the game. I want my character to be more powerful. You're like, okay, there's a big
Yep.
difference between the two.
And even though you guys have gotten pretty powerful over the last year, um,
Yeah.
you'll never have that
Uh,
walking through. Well, I mean, there
well,
will be
well,
times.
this guy.
Yeah, if you guys come across, half a dozen goblins, yeah, there will be no physical challenge, but you may miss out on something if you just walk through them, swords blazing kind of thing. There may be a reason they're there that you could benefit from besides just, taking their 4 hit points away from them.
Yes.
um, well, if they're close enough to each other, we'll never get the chance to realize that because.
Good for you, off grid. I couldn't do a forearm push up.
Uh,
Hey man, if you can do a one-arm push-up, that's awesome.
I
Yeah.
used to be able to, but the last couple of years, kind of let myself go with not riding my bike with Jackie. That was a big thing because now that he's all grown up, he doesn't want me riding to school with him and embarrassing him. I did that for like the first week of his freshman year. And he's like, "Yeah, I want to do this by myself." I'm like, "I get it."
yeah.
It's either really uncool to have to ride your bike to school for him. I'm not going to compound it, or it's incredibly liberating and feeling of freedom and growing up. And he doesn't need, dad freaking, you know, hovering behind him.
Well, I can do a one-arm down push-up.
You mean collapse on the ground?
Well, I can hold myself up until I start going down, and then it's all.
You're not coming back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get to the point where I can actually do like 10 pull-ups.
Yeah.
But
Man, there was a time when I could stand upside, like I can handstand on the fucking bar. And I can't do that shit anymore.
No excuse
Nice.
there, Justin. Go fix it.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's going to be the next challenge for us is a weight loss challenge, and just to even things out, we'll get Connell in on it.
Uh,
Well, yeah, but we'll be grading on a curve then.
Well,
I
just
wanna
so
look
we won't feel bad. I only lost 3 pounds. Connell's like, I gained 8. Love you, little brother. Where the hell are you, man?
Yeah.
I used to love. I would like that too, off grid. As a matter of fact, I'd like that a lot. I also want to be in a game that Justin runs. I want to see him run a game.
Oh, yeah. No,
And
you
one of these
don't.
days it'll happen, dude. One of these days.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be that game. Can you see it?
No.
It's man.
Oh,
Oh.
man. Man,
I put a
yeah.
lot of little Easter eggs behind me to see if people would notice things when I was redoing it. This side's still Jackie's.
Yeah, it's like well, you're like this big for me, but I guess most people you're like that big. So
I know, right? There's a few people I know who actually do watch it on their TV.
yeah, 75-inch, and you're still like this big.
Yeah.
well,
Well,
it's a
no, I
one
mean,
one
like-
scale, Justin. You don't realize how small he is.
Yeah. I'm 5'10". Maybe
That's in millimeters. That's in millimeters. Just so you know,
Yeah, yeah. I know. I was gonna say 5 inches and 10/12.
well, go metric. I'm 5 centimeters and well, no, that would be 6 centimeters because 5'10" because 10 millimeters is a centimeter. So okay, I guess you have to go. And it's funny you mentioned that off grid 16 strength. I always wondered why humanity hadn't come up with that sort of, you know how all our characters have stats, right? You
Sure.
know, and the
Yeah.
only one that actually equates to any sort of real world numbers is the intelligence, which can correlate to literal IQ. You know, if you've got a
Yeah.
14 IQ, that means you've got about 140, or 14 intelligence, you've got about 140 IQ.
Hmm.
It works, but there's no system or testing or what have you for the other factors other than maybe comeliness, which you're a 10. Okay, well, a 10 on a 3 to 18 is not very good and not very attractive, but you could, I suppose you could just double it and say it's a 20.
Well, I mean, theoretically, you can look at like bench pressing or stuff. That's one of the reasons I like about vampires. They
But
actually
you know what
put
I mean
down.
though. There's no off grid knows what a 16 strength is capable of in weightlifting and things like that, so he can say I'm a 16 strength. But but in the real world, there are no universal stats like that, and you would think that these big
Yeah,
companies and think
because
tanks
life
would.
is not a game.
Well, no, I know,
Well,
but but I mean, we have the 10 and we have the IQ. Okay.
but the IQ is still off on some of that because you're starting to look at standard deviations, which suddenly start scaling by a bunch. But then
Mhm.
the other part that when you start looking at it is this is why I liked Vampire with their stats because they would tell you what a 5 was, what a 4 was, what a 3 was. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. Um, but yeah, that's something that goes in there. Um, so yeah, that's what I. The other problem that I have with it is, well, how do you define IQ in certain cases? Because they'll be like, well, so and so has a like a 70 IQ. I'm like, okay, but what does the dog have? Well, the dog's way down below. Like, yeah, but which one is more able to take care of themselves? And so there's always those kinds of things.
Right,
I
and there's no, like with strength, you can do strength. That's easy. How much can you lift? How much can you do these things that you know?
Yeah.
And wisdom, that's really subjective. So I could see that one not being a thing. Although,
Well,
I'm sure you.
how well do you comprehend certain philosophies and things like
Mhm.
that?
well, see, wisdom is more like I like when they change it for like acts. They use willpower. I'm like, okay, well, how many people have the willpower of David Goggins to keep running? You know,
I actually like the way Gygax did it. He literally said, he's a smart guy, but he has a low wisdom because he still smokes.
yeah, but it's what does wisdom represent? It's also supposed to
Common
represent
sense.
willpower.
Common
Willpower.
sense.
No, it's
Uh,
not common sense. It's willpower.
I think willpower. Honestly, I think that would be a combination of intelligence and constitution. How much
No,
you
no,
can
no,
resist things mentally.
no. Look at what the bonuses are for your high wisdom. The bonuses are against like mind control and stuff.
Sure,
So it's a willpower thing. Um,
but it does correlate to uh, being wise, which is usually knowing when not to make dumb mistakes, not get roped into stupid situations, not drinking and driving. If you drink and drive regularly, you probably have a low wisdom.
Yeah. Um. Nonetheless, all I know is I need 4 points in wisdom. Uh, you
To
guys
be a
gotta
bard.
find you guys gotta find a way for me to get 4 points smarter in the wisdom category.
Well, you'll get one when you turn 21, so that
Yeah.
will put you down to three, and from there are ways.
Yeah.
And Constitution, that would be another one that I could see the medical profession coming up with a scale of how healthy the customer is.
Constitution is not Constitution is how long you can continuously do a thing
Hmm.
before you get tired.
But they
Um.
do have the test. When you get older, they put you on the treadmill and see how long you can do that. That would be, if you could do that like all day long. and not break a sweat, then they'd put you maybe at like a 10, let's say. You know what I mean? Like there are those people who don't get tired from running.
Well,
Right?
Yeah.
again, after listening to David Goggins and doing all that stuff, a lot of it is just mental more than just physical, and that's not something that's really equated. But it's a game. That's why I don't like. That's why I don't like when you put stuff in there. All I look at is why don't we do a curve, because there are some people that are really strong and have no flexibility. Like I was hearing one of the guys, he was a trainer for. I don't know if you've ever listened to Mark Wildman. He said he's dealt with a lot of bodybuilders, and they haven't built up certain muscles, and they'll swing a 4-pound sword and literally dislocate their elbow because they haven't
Yeah.
certain muscles. So just because you're strong in certain areas, it
Right.
doesn't equate to everything else. And
Yeah.
that's the problem.
That's why like the pictures of Conan done by Frank Frazetta look really good, but they're bodybuilder images and not strong guy images.
Well,
You
and
know what I
Frank
mean?
Frazetta was from the time of the like the silver bodybuilders, which were more
Yeah.
functional rather than the ones that you get nowadays, which are more about mass than
Yeah.
just pure
Well,
strength.
he was starting on the Gold's Gym
Nice off grid.
appearance, which started that like appearance over function.
It that's something that happened more later on. But I'm talking about when he was growing up. For a lot of it, it was the classical bodybuilders. And and the other thing was, Frank Frazetta actually was a fairly attractive man and was very athletic. I know that they were doing stuff like when they did Fire and Ice. They were, I forgot how old he was. He was what, like 60? They're like, well, people can't do this. He says, oh, really? And he would do the exercise with himself.
Wasn't Boris Vallejo also
His
big on?
wife was a bodybuilder.
He
He
was a
wasn't.
bodybuilder too. He was a bodybuilder as well.
Yeah,
Was he? I did not
Yeah.
know that. I know
Yeah,
his wife. I saw her.
Julie Bell.
Julie
Yeah.
Bell.
Yeah. Because I mean, think
and
about it. I mean,
she was all kinds of ripped.
yeah. Do you really think Julie Bell's gonna fall for a fat pudgy painter?
He looks fairly fat and pudgy.
Yeah,
Well,
but he's
she's
80
still
years old now. He's
yeah, but
80 something.
she's still fairly ripped.
Yeah, but she's what, 60? She's like 20 years younger or something.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
And I'm pretty
I've only
certain.
ever seen him as fat and pudgy. So.
Oh, really? I'm pretty certain he actually was the model for a lot of his art.
Yeah, he was. Well, so was Frank Frazetta for a lot of things too. I mean, yeah, but those guys actually worked out, to be fair. And the problem is that that's, but you got to give them credit, regardless how it is. Because if you're 80 years old, I mean, hell, the fact that you aren't broken is great.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it's cruising up on that time, folks, and I'm gonna have to skedaddle. I will see most of you guys tomorrow in the studio for our game. Hope you guys are ready. I would recommend, if you have any, you guys are going to be stuck where you are at for at least 3 months. So think of things you guys want to do while you're here, because
Oh, speaking of which, have you guys looked at the Dash Rindar stuff?
No, I don't even know what that is.
is it a Star Wars character?
No. Well, yeah, but it's the YouTube channel with the guy, and he was talking about just working on. I mean, he's pretty ripped, but the amount of years it takes to get up to just shoot a 150-pound bow. So people forget about all that stuff, and strength. And most people can't even pull it, even if because they don't work those certain muscles. So, and muscle memory also determines a lot too. But yeah, that's why I don't like using stats for everything. It's like, okay, we use one universal stat. Let's just say, okay, how does this go?
Well, no, I'm just surprised that. Take care, Cal. I'll see you tomorrow as well. I'm just surprised that the big companies haven't, and they may have, within their own companies have, in their dossiers of their employees, have rating systems for certain qualities. Like how good a worker they are. For certain things. Certain
HR, like this person sucks at interpersonal relationships. Don't put them in charge or anything.
Stuff like that, right? Ever since I first started playing, I was wondering, why the real world didn't use more of a rating system like that. And then I realized if they did, if the
Well,
real really got into it,
your country made it illegal for companies to give IQ tests to people for employment
no, I don't.
because it was racist.
Well,
Yeah, he's right. It is. It is actually illegal to test for IQ to hire someone.
that's too bad.
So what they do instead is they ask questions and then see if you can answer correctly. That's what they do, which is the same effective thing.
Yeah.
Well, off grid. I don't know about that. What you just said, not the throwing part, but the other part. That's always a possibility. Um, but I also thought, thank God they don't, because what a dystopian hell, Gattaca like world we would live in if the big companies did stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because then they would literally start grouping the people with the higher numbers, you know what I mean, and shoveling off the people with the low numbers into different kinds of locations, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
Well, and to be fair, even then, is you have to do a spectrum of stuff. Just because you know,
Yeah.
are you going to go through? It's like, okay, what are you looking at? That's why if you look
Oh
at the
yeah, it would
military,
definitely be more than six stats.
yeah. So, well,
Nice option.
partially, yeah, with what catches, I don't doubt that. But I hate saying it, all these people who talk about they're great with shots with rifles. I'm like, most of you only like a one or a two in a rifle. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like, yes, you are. People overestimate their actual skill
Yeah.
levels too.
Your skill only depends on what you can do under pressure.
Right, and
Right.
against a moving target. Regular targets, they're not moving, and you've got all the time in the world unless you're, putting yourself under pressure and timing, giving yourself, minimal time and things like that. I know from my archery classes that hitting a still target versus a moving target, night and day skill set.
Well, the other thing is, if you really want to do it, make sure your heartbeat's about 180 beats per minute, and now start
Right,
shooting.
right.
That's a big difference. And
Oh
most
yeah,
people are like,
a
"Oh,
lot
I
of
can do."
people
Yeah.
when they start even getting like 3/4 of the way they're shaking like a leaf.
Oh yeah. Well, I've seen people, talk about Constitution. You ever seen the guy where he says, "Go ahead and try hitting me," and a lot of them won't even hit him, and they'll quit after about 30 seconds because they're exhausted. Just throwing punches. So you're just like, okay, there's a big difference between being conditioned and yeah, that's why I don't worry about it too much. It's like, well, what can I do? And then the other part is, am I healthy enough? It's just like, when you start talking about, okay, well, what's an 18 dexterity? Because I could do the splits about a year ago. So can most people? No.
Yeah. Dexterity is mostly flexibility and how fast you can respond to things in real life.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, there's that. And other games
Okay,
split up into agility and dexterity, which are two different things.
yeah.
How you can you manipulate your fingers versus how well can you actually like do acrobatics and
Mhm.
stuff. So there's a lot of different factors in it. Other systems just use the word like might. Some of them only have three three stats. Yeah.
Check out Cal's last two comments. Nice, that was funny. Thanks for leaving me with a good chuckle. But I really have to get going, folks. I will see you guys tomorrow in the
Okay.
Discord. Everybody else, uh, see you guys on Justin's show in the morning. Right? We're doing a Monday morning
Monday.
show,
Yeah.
and then I will be doing the awards show with the little guy, whether he likes it or not. Tuesday evening, I want to say, because that's usually when we do that. If he's here, if he's not, then we'll be doing it Monday evening, which is our favorites award, where we let everybody know who our favorite YouTubers were and for the reasons that they win the awards. I still need to get Brian to print me off a crap ton of those trophies, but I was going to ask him tonight if he showed up.
Mm-hmm. Um, we were talking about schedule on my show earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. What time do you absolutely have to be off air at? Like
Oh,
I
I don't have to be off. I just was thinking that
well,
maybe that was a failed experiment because it failed to get Mr. Max in at a time,
yeah,
on a regular basis, and maybe we'll talk to him and see what he says. Because if we're only doing it for him, I'd be much happier going back to starting at an hour earlier, just
yeah.
because
So
it's
that'd
it
be
gives
12
me
o'clock.
a little bit bigger chunk after the show of what I can do during the day,
Yeah,
and otherwise I'm just like waiting around for an hour and a half for your show to come on, and you know,
yeah. I was thinking like ending it when you've got to be there for Jackie to come home, and then you'd have the whole before the show to do your chores and write and whatever.
oh, you mean making it like later?
Yeah, because I know a lot
Uh,
of people have a problem with it being so early in the day.
um,
Like a lot of like washers and shit.
maybe. Let's
Yeah,
talk to Mr. Max first and see what
I'm
he.
not worried about that. Like,
Okay, because yeah, he gets home either 3 or 4, so
so
that's
what time do we end for you?
12.
12. So we end 12 for you. So say we push it back to 2 o'clock your time, 1 or 2 your time. 'Cause I
Maybe.
want to start getting like much closer. Like it's the 2 hour mark. We're done.
Yeah, the only problem with that is that roughly 30 to 40 minutes before he gets home, I'm making dinner,
Yeah. So we'll make that a full hour.
which would make it starting at like almost 12 my time, which would be 2 your time, maybe.
2 my time. We end at 2 my time as it is.
So starting at 2 your time.
Oh, starting at 2 my time. Yeah. Okay. So 2 to 4, which is good
Maybe.
because 2 to 4 my time. Because I usually get ready for dinner myself around that. We eat at 5 my time. So
Okay.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
plus
Normally, Justin's show starts at 12. I believe your time off
one
grid.
one 1 o'clock my time.
Okay.
Which he's the same time zone as I am.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about it
Yeah.
more tomorrow, I
We'll
guess.
do that in the new year. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Yes, I know off grid. I may actually get to that tomorrow. I
Yeah.
just gotta break out the ladder and cut away all that duct tape, and maybe I'll just pull it right out of the freaking ceiling. I gotta replace it anyway, so what the hell, right?
Yeah.
Why bother taking off the tape?
Chirp.
Sure.
Uh, chirp.
All right, guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Everybody out there in TV land, thanks for sticking around and playing along.
Maybe
And
that's what we do when you go get a smoke. Is just start yelling chirp, 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 chirp.
I think I'll have that fixed by tomorrow.
Yeah, but we'll just do it because you're going for a smoke anyway.
That'd still be funny.
Oh,
Happy
okay,
trails, everybody.
All right.
party on, everyone.